The cry beneath the burning sky. Approximately 800 words. Third person. FY style. Simple English. The war was supposed to be over. Captain Jace Kellen stood on the edge of the destroyed battlefield. Black smoke curled into the red sky, rising from the broken bodies of ships and cities. Fire still burned in some corners. Metal twisted and groaned under the weight of defeat. He stepped forward slowly, boots crunching over ash and broken glass. His weapon hung at his side, loose and heavy. There were no enemies left, at least not here. His squad was gone. Some died. Some retreated. Jace didn't blame them. He stayed behind to search. For what, he wasn't sure. Maybe a sign. Maybe a reason. Then he heard it. A sound. Soft, weak, almost drowned by the wind. A cry. Jace froze. He turned his head, scanning the wreckage. The sound came again, closer this time. A small, broken sob. Not the growl of a wounded beast or the hum of broken machines. A child. He ran out, his heart pounded. The ruins of an alien transport ship lay. A head half crushed, still smoking. He climbed over the metal shell, carefully stepping past sharp edges and fire. The cry grew louder. More real. Inside the broken hull, beneath a fallen beam, he found her. A small alien girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. Her skin was pale silver, with soft patterns like stars on her cheeks. Her eyes wide and glowing faint blue stared at him. With fear, she held a torn blanket close, her tiny body shaking. Jace dropped his rifle and raised his hands. "Hey, it's okay," he said gently. "I'm not here to hurt you." She didn't speak, just stared. Her mouth trembled. A soft whimper escaped her. He crouched down slowly, showing her he had nothing in his hands. His armor was scorched, his face dirty, but his voice stayed calm. "What's your name?" he asked. "Are you hurt?" She didn't answer. But she didn't run either. Jac reached into his pack and pulled out a water pouch. He placed it in front of her, then moved back a little. The girl looked at the pouch, then at him. Slowly, carefully, she reached out and grabbed it. She drank, her hands still shaking. Jace sighed with relief. "Good girl," he whispered. For a moment, there was peace. Then he felt it. A chill ran through his spine. He stood up quickly, eyes scanning the wreckage. Something was watching them. He could feel it. A presence silent and cold moving through the smoke. He grabbed his weapon again, but kept it low. The girl froze. Her eyes looked past him, into the fire behind. Jace turned. A shape appeared through the smoke. Tall, fast, silent, not human. It stepped forward, an alien figure, wrapped in dark armor. A long cloak of ash followed her like smoke. Her face was hidden beneath a mask, but her eyes burned through it, golden and sharp like a hunter. Jace raised his rifle but didn't shoot. His gut told him this wasn't a random enemy. The alien woman stopped a few feet away. Her gaze moved from Jace to the child. Then she spoke low, strong, and steady. "You found her." Her voice was deep, but strangely calm. She stepped closer, ignoring Jace's weapon. "She is mine," she said. Jace frowned. "Yours?" The woman looked at the girl, then back at him. "She cried for you," she said, but she did not know why. "Now you are here." "I don't understand," Jace sighed, lowering the rifle slightly. "Who is she?" The woman paused. Her breath was heavy. Then she said something that made his heart stop. "She's yours, too." Jace blinked. "What?" Before he could ask more, the alien woman stumbled. Her hand went to her side. Blood dark. Purple leaked through her armor. She fell to one knee, eyes still on the child. Jace rushed forward and caught her before she hit the ground. "Hey," Stay with me. She gritted her teeth. Protect her. They will come. They will come for her. Jace looked back at the child. She had crawled forward and now clung to his leg, hiding from the fire and from the truth. He didn't know who she really was. He didn't know why the alien woman called her his. But he knew one thing clearly now. This child was in danger. And she was not alone anymore. Huntress was bleeding. Jace carried her out of the wreckage and laid her gently on a flat piece of metal. Her armor was cracked. Her breathing was slow. But her eyes, those burning golden eyes, stayed locked on him. She's yours too, she had said. Those words echoed in Jace's mind again and again. He looked down at the small girl now sitting quietly by his leg. She didn't cry anymore. She only watched him, as if she already knew him. As if she was waiting. Che. AC turned back to the alien woman. Who are you? The woman didn't answer at first. Her hand touched her side again. The wound was deep. Purple blood soaked her armor. She needed help, real help, but there were no medics left here. Just fire, steel, and silence. Jace took out his emergency medkit. He wasn't a doctor, but he could stop the bleeding. He cleaned the wound and applied a healing patch. The Huntress winced, but didn't scream. You are still gentle, she said softly. Jace paused. Have we met before? She looked at him, long and quiet. No, but your blood remembers mine. He stared at her. What does that even mean? She slowly lifted her hand and placed it over the child's head. Her name is Rhianna. Jace repeated the name in his head. It felt familiar, so now I protected her since she was born, the Huntress said. But she was never only mine, the blood that runs in her veins. It is both alien and human. Jace's hands froze. His heart beat faster. Are you saying? Yes, the Huntress said. She was made from both of us. His breath caught. Project Unity. It was supposed to be a failure. Years ago, the Terran military had experimented with peaceful fusion between species. Genetic fusion. He had donated DNA as part of the program. They told him it never worked. They shut it down, but they lied. Rhianna wasn't just a child. She was living proof. Jace looked at the girl again. She looked at him with those glowing blue eyes, part human, part alien, and entirely innocent. She doesn't know, the Huntress said. Not yet. She knows only warmth and fear. Jace looked around. The area was growing quiet. Too quiet. He stood. We need to move. The Huntress nodded weakly. Others will come for her. Not just soldiers, the ones who made her. They want her back. She is the key to something they could not control. Jace picked up the child and helped the Huntress to her feet. Then we keep moving, together. They left the crash site and walked toward the hills, away from the smoke and the fire. As they moved through broken terrain, Jace asked, What's your name? She hesitated. Velshara. He repeated it, then smiled. Vel, that's easier. She gave a small smile, back tired but real. Hours passed. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the shattered land. They found a hidden bunker under the remains of an outpost. It was damaged, but safe enough for now. Inside, Jace made a small fire. Rhianna sat close to it, wrapped in a blanket. She looked at the flames with calm, glowing eyes. Velshara sat nearby, her body tense, but her eyes soft when she looked at the child. Jace watched both of them. She doesn't act afraid anymore. She feels you, Vel said. You give her calm. Jace shook his head slowly. I don't know how to be a father. I never even planned to. You don't need to know, Vel interrupted. You only need to stay. Silence fell between them. Then Vel's expression changed. Her eyes narrowed. She stood suddenly. Jace grabbed his weapon. "What is it?" Vel turned toward the hatch. Her voice dropped low. "They found us." Jace's heart dropped. "Already?" Vel nodded. "They never stopped hunting her. We were just faster. Until now." Outside, faint sounds began to. Echo footsteps, machines, movement in the dark. Jace looked at Rhianna. She clung to her blanket, but this time, she didn't look scared. She looked ready. Vel stepped forward and pulled two strange blades from her side. They hissed softly, glowing faintly. "We stand," she said. Jace loaded his rifle. "We protect her." From the dark beyond the door, a voice came cold and metallic. "Unit 07 located. Retrieve or eliminate." Jace stood in front of the child. Velshara stood beside him. The fire burned behind them, and the real fight had just begun. The night was cold, but inside the bunker, something warmer was waking. Rhianna sat quietly near the fire, her silver eyes blinking in the glow. Her small fingers traced a symbol on the floor, over and over again. It looked like a star, but not. One from Earth, not one Jace had ever seen. Velshara noticed. "She remembers." Vel whispered. "JAC." Looked over. "Remembers what?" "The stars. The dream they placed in her." "She was never made to be just a child." Jace frowned. "What do you mean?" Vel sat beside the girl and spoke softly. "They named her Fireborn. She was the first of her kind born. Not from love, but from a lab. A mix of your DNA and mine. She was designed to unite two enemies, to show that human and alien blood could become something new, something powerful." Jace looked at Rhianna with new eyes. She didn't speak much, but her eyes were deep, older than her years. Her silence wasn't from fear, it was from knowing too much. "Why didn't they tell me?" Jace asked. Vel single quotes Shara didn't answer for a moment. Then she said, "Because they were afraid." Jace sat down, arms resting on his knees. "Of what?" Vel's golden eyes met his. "Of what she could become." Outside, the sounds of the enemy patrol had faded. But they were still out there, waiting, watching. Rhianna stood slowly and walked to the corner of the room. She placed her small hand on the metal wall. The wall responded. It lit up with a pulse of soft blue light. Jace stood, shocked. "How is she doing that?" Vel stepped forward. "Her body reacts to energy. She doesn't fully understand it yet. But soon, she will." Suddenly, the wall beeped. A screen flickered on. A face appeared, holographic, fuzzy, but clear enough to recognize. Jace's stomach turned. "Dr. Craden," he whispered. The scientist who led Project Unity. The message played automatically. "If you're seeing this, it means the girl is alive. And if she's alive, she's in danger. The program was never shut down. It was taken underground. The child Rhianna is not just a fusion. She is the next evolution. A bridge between species. A living peace treaty. But there are those who would rather erase peace than live with it." The recording glitched, then stopped. Jace stared at the screen. They knew all along. They never gave up on her. They just hid her like a weapon. Vel nodded slowly. "But she is not a weapon. She is a flame. And flames don't stay hidden forever." Suddenly, Rhianna turned around. Her eyes glowed brighter than before. Her small voice rang through the bunker. "They're coming again." Jace raised his weapon. "How do you know?" "I felt them," she said. Vel placed her hand on Jace's shoulder. "It has begun. Her senses are opening." There was no time to run. They prepared for a fight. As the door burst open and enemy soldiers poured in, Jace and Vel fought back with everything they had: bullets, blades, and rage. But in the middle of the chaos, Rhianna stood tall. She didn't cry. She raised her hand, and the fire moved. Blue flame danced from her fingertips and swept across the room. It didn't burn Jace. It didn't touch Vel. But every enemy soldier froze, their weapons pulled from their hands by unseen energy. The fire obeyed her. The room fell silent again. Jace looked at her, heart pounding. You did that? Rhianna nodded. She didn't smile. Her eyes glowed like a sunrise. I don't want to hurt anyone, she said, but I won't let them take me. Vel bowed her head. She remembers now who she is. Jace dropped to one knee beside her. You saved us. Rhianna looked into his eyes. You saved me first. He didn't know what to say. He just reached forward and hugged her. She hugged him back tight and warm. Vel stepped beside them. Her voice was soft. She is not just fireborn anymore. She is your daughter, by blood, by bond, and by choice. Jace looked up at her. Then I'll protect her, whatever it takes. Outside, more enemies gathered in the distance. But inside the bunker, something stronger had been born. Not just fire. Family. The fire had gone out. But the heat still remained. Jace sat against the wall of the bunker, holding a sleeping Rhianna in his arms. Her breathing was calm now. Her power had stopped glowing. But Jace knew the light inside her was still burning. Velshara stood near the entrance, watching the dark. Her wounds were healing slowly, thanks to the med patch and Rhianna's strange touch. But something else weighed on her, something heavier than pain. They won't stop, she said softly. They never will, Jace nodded. Then we don't. Run, we fight. Vel looked at him, her golden eyes sharp. Not yet. First, we need the truth. She walked to a control panel built into the old bunker wall. Most of the tech was dead, but part of the alien system still worked. She pressed her hand to the panel. A screen flickered on. Jace moved closer. On the screen, files began to open. Old, hidden files. Logos appeared. Earth Defense Command. Project Unity. Classified. What is this? He asked. Vel spoke with quiet anger. Everything they didn't want you to know. She tapped through the files. Video logs played. Test Subject 07 shows stable integration. Human Ilari DNA fusion successful. She learns fast. Too fast. She remembers voices from inside the womb. Shut it down. She's not a child, she's a signal. If she survives, peace becomes a demand, not an option. Jace stared at the screen in disbelief. They made her to unite species, but they feared that peace would take away their power. Vel nodded. They wanted control, not unity. So when Rhianna was born, they tried to erase her. He clenched his fists. How did she survive? I stole her, Vel said. With help from someone inside. She opened one more file. A face appeared. Dr. Creighton again. But this time, he was older. Sad. If this message finds you, Jace, know that I'm sorry. I chose the mission over the miracle. Rhianna was never a mistake. She's everything we hoped for. And she's yours. If you protect her, she may protect all of us one day. The message ended. Jace stared at the screen for a long time. Then he looked down at Rhianna, still asleep against his chest. I never thought I'd have a daughter, he whispered. Now I can't imagine losing her. Vel looked at him carefully. Then you need to decide who you really are now. A soldier? Or a father? Jace stood. Both. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the screen. Incoming signal. Earth command. Vel narrowed her eyes. They found us again. But the message wasn't an attack order. It was a voice. Captain Jace Kellen, this is General Thorne. You are holding Subject 07. Surrender her peacefully, and no harm will come to you. Jace grabbed the mic. Her name is Rhianna. And she's not a subject. She's my daughter. The general's voice stayed cold. Captain, this is not your choice. She carries something dangerous. You don't understand what she could unleash? Jace's voice hardened. I've seen it. She unleashed it to protect us. What have you done with your power lately, General? Silence followed. Then the signal ended. Jace turned to Vel. They're afraid of her. They should be, she replied. Not because she's a threat, but because she's free. Suddenly, Rhianna stirred in his arms. Her eyes opened. They're watching us, she said softly. How do you know? Jace asked. I can feel them, she whispered. They're scared of what I might become. Jace hugged her close. Then we show them. Not with fear, but with truth. Vel nodded. It's time we stopped running. But we can't do it alone, Jace added. If others helped you before, maybe they will again. Vel's eyes lit up. There's someone, an old ally, far from here. If he's alive, he'll know what to do, Jace smiled. Then let's go find him. He lifted Rhianna gently, slung his rifle across his back, and looked out toward the rising light on the edge of the war-torn horizon. The ghosts of the program had spoken. Now it was their turn to answer. Dust filled the air as the old shuttle landed. It was an ancient ship, half rusted, barely holding together, but it flew fast and silent. Vel Shara guided it through the broken skies, while Jace stood by the window, watching the world burn. Below. Cities were in ruins. Fires still smoldered. And in the distance, battles still raged. The war was never truly over. It had just gone quiet for a while. Rhianna sat between them, her eyes locked on the clouds. She said nothing, but Jace could tell she was feeling something. What is it? He asked gently. I hear their voices, she said. The soldiers. The leaders. Everyone. Jace exchanged a look with Vel. She's sensing minds now? Vel nodded slowly. Her gifts are waking faster. Too fast. Jace kneeled beside Rhianna. Can you turn it off? She shook her head. I don't want to. I want to know what they're afraid of. Vel whispered. They're afraid of change. Jace stood. Then they've already lost. The shuttle landed outside an old military bunker, hidden beneath a collapsed mountain ridge. This was the last known location of Vel's ally, a rogue scientist named Kale Vex, who once helped build Project Unity. Then vanished. The door opened with a groan. The hallway beyond was silent and dark. Stay behind me, Jace said, weapon raised. They moved carefully through the corridor until a dim blue light appeared. A figure stood in the shadows. You brought her, the voice said. The Fireborn. Vel stepped forward. We had no choice. They're hunting her. Kale Vex stepped into the light, an older alien with mechanical limbs and tired eyes. He looked at Rhianna, then at Jace. She's more than I expected, he said. And you? You were never supposed to see her again. Jace crossed his arms. Plans change. Kale looked down at Rhianna. Do you know what you are, child? She met his gaze. I'm not a weapon, he smiled sadly. Good, because the people coming for you want you to be. He walked them into a command room filled with old screens and glowing maps. War never ended, he explained. It just went underground. The High Command, both human and alien, couldn't accept peace created in a lab. They want power, not unity. Vel leaned over the map. How many sides are left? Too many. Kale said. But they all agree on one thing. You must not live. Jace's eyes narrowed. Then let's make them regret trying. Kale shook his head. You can't win in open war. But there is another way. He showed them a signal tower deep. In the neutral zone. If Rhianna connects to the core system there, her voice, her mind can reach every species. Not just a message, a bond, a psychic link, a living truth. Vel's voice dropped low. She could unite them. Jace looked. At his daughter. Or die trying. Rihanna stepped forward. I want to try. No, Jace said firmly. You don't have to risk this. She looked up at him. You didn't leave me. I won't leave them. Kale began preparing the old transport ship for launch. They had only one shot. Once Rihanna connected to the core, the system would react, calling out across planets and battlefields. But it would also expose her location to every enemy in the galaxy. There will be no hiding after this. Vel warned. Jace nodded. Then we stop hiding. Before leaving, Jace took a quiet moment with Rihanna. I'm proud of you, he said. But no matter what happens, I want you to know you're not alone. She touched his hand. I've never felt alone. Not with you? They boarded the ship. The war they didn't finish was about to end, one way or another. The signal tower stood like a broken crown in the middle of a dead zone. Twisted metal arms reached into the sky, covered in ash, wind, and forgotten. Wars. All around it, old battlefields stretched across the cracked earth scars, from fights that no one even remembered why they started. Chase stepped out of the ship first, scanning the hills. Clear, for now. Velshara followed, blades on her. Back, eyes sharp. Too quiet. Then Rihanna stepped down. She walked ahead of them, small and calm, the wind lifting her silver hair. She carried nothing, no weapons, no shield, just the fire inside her. Inside the tower, they climbed to the control platform. The room was ancient alien tech mixed with human design, a perfect symbol of what she was. Jace looked at the cables, the broken screens. Will it still work? Kale Vex's voice crackled over cones. It will if she connects to the core. She was made for it, born for it. Vel checked the entrance. They're coming. In the distance, ships began to appear one by one, then dozens. They circled above the tower like vultures. Soldiers dropped to the ground in waves, both alien and human, all armed, all hunting. Rihanna looked up. They're scared. Jace knelt beside her. You don't have to do this. We can run again. Rihanna shook her head. Running won't stop the war. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the glowing interface. The tower came alive. Lights burst on. The walls hummed. Ancient circuits lit up like veins. A deep pulse echoed through the earth like a heartbeat. And then her mind reached out. Jace fell to his knees, grabbing his head. Vel gasped. All around the world, soldiers dropped their weapons. Pilots paused mid-flight. Leaders across distant planets froze in place. Rihanna's voice wasn't heard through ears. It was felt inside every mind. Stop. One word. One command. You built me to divide. But I was never meant to choose sides. I am both. I am the fire between stars. I am peace born in war. I am yours, and you are mine. Across the battlefield, soldiers lowered their guns. Eyes filled with tears. Generals dropped to their knees. In one enemy ship. General Thorne stared at the glowing signal. His hand trembled. Who gave her this power? His second-in-command whispered, You did, sir, when you tried to erase her. Down at the tower, soldiers approached, but didn't attack. One alien warrior took off her helmet. She's not the enemy. A human. Sniper dropped his rifle. She's the reason we're still human. Rihanna stood in the center of the platform, glowing blue and gold, her eyes burning like stars. But she didn't burn them. She warmed them. And then, the signal ended. Silence fell over the world. Not the silence of fear, the silence of peace. Chase rushed to her side. She was breathing hard, tired but smiling. You did it, he whispered. She looked up at him. I didn't do it alone. Vel walked up, her armor scratched, her face soft. You ended something none of us could. Jace picked up Rhianna in his arms. The war they started, you finished. She nodded. Now they can begin again. Better. Ships pulled back. Soldiers returned home. And across the stars, for the first time in centuries, peace was not a treaty, Dot. It was a child. Final scene, perfect for YouTube outro voiceover. They called her Subject 07, a failed experiment, a threat to both sides. But she was never a weapon. She was a daughter. And she became the voice that made galaxies listen. Her name was Rhianna Fireburn, and the bloodline they feared changed everything. The Indie.